Hey everybody, welcome back to Strategic Command with the Wargaming Guy, and this is going to be a little different because I had some issues. I'm having some glitches with my sound and my microphone. I don't know if the latest update to Windows 10 has messed me up, but my UBS, my recording software, keeps messing it up. So I'm going to have to re-record this because you can barely hear me over all of the game sounds for some reason because the normal inputs got switched or something. So anyway, just going to try and give you this, giving you a little overview of what's happening in case you're new here. As you can see here in the Caucasus, well, it's pretty sad, but Rommel's down here. So the plan, and because of course I know what's going to happen because I've already seen this and I've already played this, I'm recording this, so I'm going to try not to spoil too many things in advance. But the plan is I got to get Rommel out of there, and I want to operate hopefully my armor out. So the Germans go first, and I can get them all the way down to here next to this port. The idea is to ship them around the Horn and bring them into the Suez Canal, where we can form a defensive line against the rampaging Russian hordes, which I, my friends, and I alone, have set loose upon the Middle East to my absolute horror. Well, the Italians won't operate, so they got to go. And these poor guys, who were such a great unit in defense and offense, well, if I put them in Tehran, I figured they're dead. So I thought, let's move them down here. They might have a chance to escape there, maybe just kind of. These guys, they're going nowhere. So what do we do here? Well, got to pull back my Italian army there to Mosul and hope they can hold the core. I mean, the headquarters. You know what? Maybe it's just better off leaving it there because at least it's dug in. It's going to die either way. There's no escape. And so you can see this vast swath of territory that the Russians are about to overrun, thanks to me. And so my only hope is maybe I can hold them at the choke point of the Suez Canal, at least for a while, maybe. Now, it is December 1944, so that's good. It's going to take them a little while to get across the desert, although, as you'll see in a minute, they move pretty fast. I do have one Italian unit digging in. But I may just pull him back on the other side of the canal, which is probably the smart thing to do. Meanwhile, winter, when you get up north here, winter is here, which is good because it should keep all the air power grounded, and that is what we want. So where are we going to put our new units? We've got a couple, corps and an army. So let's look around. Should I put these on the east front or the western front? The eastern front, as you look it over, is a little rough in places for sure. The western front, yeah, it's like a total disaster. So I'm going to wait to deploy these until I see what I can do. I wanted to move through and cut him off. Can't do it. So maybe if I move down here, the zone of control from the unit might cut him off. This guy's not going anywhere, so I decided to take the risk. It's a huge risk. It's probably a dumb move, but if I can cut his supply off, that would be awesome. It's got an anti-aircraft unit, but what else have I got to put there? Because this guy, well, this guy's not going to go where I want him to go either. I was hoping he could push through and cut him off. He can't, but at least he can go there. So hopefully the zones of controls of these two guys, these two units, should cut him off. That's the hope. And so we'll see. All right. We've got a headquarters there. That's Model. And I just realized now I've got a problem because I can't put units in the front line because my front line is still west of Germany. I'm actually not doing too bad for this at this point historically. So, you know, what am I going to do? Am I going to move him and move around or whatever? It's tempting, but I think in the end it's probably better just to leave Model there because he's only got one hex can attack him. That's all at this point, unless I pull that German army out of Maestricht, in which case then he'd have a two-front possibility of being attacked on two fronts, hex fronts, two hex sides, rather. Sorry. Still can't get over how I left that open up there. The Allies have stormed. Well, I should say the Allies, mostly the Americans, have stormed across the frontier there. They've crossed the Rhine. It's a disaster. Otherwise, I'm not doing too bad on the messed up Western Front. Okay, let's move him there. Let's put him there. We will see what happens. Can't supply him, unfortunately. But there are units down here that I need to look because hopefully I can supply them. Here's one, the Italian armor unit. This boy really needs some help. And thankfully, because of the weather, I should not have to deal with bombardment. So that's good. Nope, he's good. So now, do I want to move this guy? What do I want to do? I've got that gap in the lines. But he's sitting in Metz. He's super fortified. So if I pull him back to there, then he's not going to be dug in on top of it with no fortifications. So heck with it. I'm going to see if this garrison unit can hold. In fact, let's see. We can't really upgrade him. Can't reinforce a lot of these guys because the weather probably cuts the supply down. But at least I've stitched together something in the west. Now here in the east, obviously we gotta swap that and reinforce this guy. When you switch units like that, you can still attack and reinforce them if they haven't moved, because they haven't moved. They don't call that switching thing movement. So that's good. So now we're going to run down here and we are going to reinforce all that we can, because either reinforce or in this case have him get the heck out of Dodge. But we've got to get units prepared for the onslaught. So he's back safe now, and you notice he's in a fortified hex, so we can reinforce him next turn if everything goes well, and should be a pretty good blockade or blockage for the Russians trying to push west. But I can't reinforce him this turn. Now this is the Spanish division, I guess it is. It's First Army from Spain, but they only sent a division in real life. But whatever. It's interesting. Spain's being overrun, as you'll see in a little while, and yet somehow they sent like 10,000 guys to Poland for the Spanish army fighting for the Germans. Wow, what great allies, because we're not doing diddly squat for them. The U.S. is invading Spain because they joined with the Axis, and there's no help here, buddy. Sorry. We have problems of our own. What can I say? But, thanks for the help, because actually that unit, the Blue Division, was what the Spanish Division was called historically. And in this game, it's fought pretty darn well. Of course, in this game, it's been on the defense, which is a big help. Axis allies tend to do much better on defense than offense. Not necessarily great on defense either, but if you can get them dug in the right situations, it's not too bad. All right, so this guy's coming back. He's not going to go back as far as I wanted, so we're going to move them over. This will keep him in the woods, which will give him some help against the advancing Russian hordes. Meanwhile, we have a gap. Oh, yes, we do. So we got to start moving people around to cover the gaps, which is a pain in the rear. And, of course, you think, you got reinforced, you can put them right in the gap. No, you can't. They have to go in Germany, which Germany proper, and most of where they're needed the most, there is not Germany. Allies aren't quite into Germany yet. So there you go. Put him up there to maybe help slow down the U.S. That's in the West. Things are pretty well under control, except for that awful situation up, on the northern part of the front in the Netherlands. It's just, what a disaster. Well, anyway, suck it up, buddy. We got to try to reinforce. Surprisingly enough, we can reinforce that guy, so that's really good because he's in really mountainous terrain. And we actually have some depth here. This front down here in Romania is in much better shape than I thought it would be. I got to say that. Of course, the weather's been a big help. It slows down the offense, and, of course, there's no air power. So I thought, all right, we're going to have to back up sooner or later. So let's send somebody to dig into the capital, get him dig in and ready for defense, see how long he can hold out. If we can keep the Russians from getting there for another couple of months, that would be awesome, but we'll see. Going to reinforce this guy and get him ready to continue the fight. It is weird, too, because Italy's under some threat now, but we just can't give up our Italians on the East Front. See what I mean? We got U.S. troops. U.S. troops are carrying the war at this point. The British just haven't panned out. So, what can we buy? Let's look for the Italians. Can we get a core? Yeah, maybe we can. So let's see. Okay, cool. And now for the Germans. Let's check their army. Look at that. We got 2 armies with stars. That means they were destroyed. They can be rebuilt at half cost. We don't need the mobility really at this point. I mean, it would be nice, but we can live without it. The 14th here, oops. So now, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to buy it, even though it's not, it doesn't have the best equipment, because we need warm bodies to fill the front. Now, here's Spain. Look at this. Look at this. The Spanish unit there's in Leon. Here's our 2 other corps around Madrid, and pretty much everything else is gone except these guys down here. So if they can get Spain to surrender, of course, the guy in Gibraltar just disappears, and they can walk in, take it, and open the Mediterranean Sea. The bad part is you got the Western allies coming in there, and the Soviets, once they get down to the coast in Syria, they're also now touching the Med. So the Med goes from being an Axis lake to being a Allied bathtub or something. I don't know. This is really bad. And surprising, the size of the commitment that the U.S. has made here in Spain. Look at that. Boom. We've got guys moving already. They are just like everywhere. They've driven down to Salamanca, and we don't see the unit, but we know it's there because of the front line moving. So they are serious about knocking out Spain. So right now, Spain's actually doing something really good for the Germans, and that is they're soaking up a bunch of U.S. troops and some U.S. air power. There's a TAC Air there, and there's a fighter unit, I believe, somewhere in Spain. But the problem is when Spain falls, what happens? All those guys, or at least most of them, are going to come back to the main front in France, and Germany, and that's going to be really bad news. But we'll just have to do our best. That's what you always do, right? Okay, so they moved a air unit up to the front line there. I hate it when the AI does that. I really wish, and SC's not the only game that does that. Games do that all the time, and it's so gamey and so stupid. I wish there was a way. It seems like a simple fix, but obviously it's not, because you see it happen in so many games. But I wish there was a way to stop that from happening. You know, if you want to disband your air units and put them into an army division or something, fine. But you don't just fly a bunch of planes and support personnel into an airfield and say, all right, boys, hold the line here. And that just doesn't happen. So we've got some stuff going on. You are not going to hear the game sounds because of this glitch, for which I humbly apologize. But somebody just moved by train. I can hear it. I'm listening on very low volume to this, just to sort of, oops, here we go. Now, see, we're south of the weather here. So there's no rain, there's no snow. So whatever air power the Russians have down here is going to work just fine. Unfortunately for me, because, yeah, this is not good. This is not what we wanted, but it's what we're getting. And here come the Americans. Boom, he hits my anti-air unit, which is holding on. Ooh. So it took 80% losses. It does pull back, but it did absorb 2 shots from an American armored unit. And look, ooh, that's not good. They moved up there, so they're going to be able to get across that little spit of land now, which is bad. Meanwhile, this American armored unit is having some trouble. Actually, I've noticed, well, wait a minute, I'll get to that in a second. Look at that. That's beautiful. Yeah. Now they're going to bring someone else in, I'm sure. Yes, they do, but it's nice to see the enemy armor attack and fail. I love it. It boosts my morale. It probably didn't do anything for the game's morale, but it helps me out, okay? And there's the poor engineers doing what they were not really designed for, and they don't do very well. All right, so... and holding out good in the fortifications there. That's excellent. That's what we want. You'll notice we've got another front line, or HQ on the front line there, right next to Przemysl, but at least he's in a fortified position. And Przemysl is like a magnet. They just want it, so they just attack it, and they leave the HQ alone, which is really good. I like that. Let's hope they continue to do that, because Primsel can take it a lot better than my HQs, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, he took a pretty tough shot there, but he's holding on. Ooh, that's bad. He lost 2 more. Uh-oh, switcheroony. Look out. Oh, good. So he's safe now. No more movement against him. And here they go. Picking on the weak guy. Picking on the little guy. How come they never pick on anybody their own size? That's what I want to know. But they don't, because they're smart. All right, so here we go. That didn't go too well for him either. So, we still got that open position there between the guy that was just attacked, the 8 strength guy, and the HQ, but hopefully I can get somebody in there next turn. Since it's a nice fortified position, it should be easier to hold. Ah, Italian artillery to the rescue. Fire, boys. Ooh, didn't do too much good, but they held. They didn't lose too much. Ah, beautiful. Like that. Love that. Love it. See, that's not bad on defense at all. So the Axis allies, if you supply them properly and let them get dug in, they can do pretty good, especially on defense. At least that's how I see it. Look at that. Another one. Beautiful. And another one. And that's it. That's all they're going to be able to bring against him. Oh, here come the Americans. Man, they are chewing up that empty Spanish countryside. Yeah, Spain's a beautiful country. And they apparently want to see as much of it as possible. Obviously, the end game is not just to knock Spain out of the war, but to get Gibraltar back. Now, this guy is in a well-fortified place. He should be good. He's dug in. He's behind a river. He should be in good shape. I mean, it should take a lot to get him out of there. Of course, once they get their air power back, that's the game changer. That really nullifies a lot of terrain and a lot of fortification because it just pounds your fortifications to dust, and then the ground troops come in and kick your butt. All right, you'll notice that the UK units are really low on morale. You know, I conquered, well, I didn't, hold on there. Let's not get carried away here. I captured a great deal of England. Got to, but could never really hold Manchester. I captured it twice for one turn and lost the unit that captured it, which led to the demise of Army Group England, which was destroyed. I figured that once they got their country back and stuff, that the morale would go really high, but it has not. The morale of the UK troops is low. So that's helping me. That's helpful and surprising. Uh-oh. What? Uh-oh. No. Look out, run away. Too late. Well, he doesn't have problems anymore, folks. So if you want to get rid of your problems, and you can't get rid of your problems, if you get rid of yourself, then you don't have anyone left to worry about them. And apparently that's the solution that those Italians came up with, because now no one's worrying. The Canucks are here, attacking, starting to try and push into northern Italy. As you can see, with the fall of France and with Vichy France becoming, look at that, Vichy France becoming part of the Allies, Italy is just in heap big trouble. So I've got trying to put some kind of a force up in northern Italy to deal with that. Look at that. They cut all the way through now. They've cut Spain in half lengthwise. Lyon is still being held up north. To the south, it's just the troops around Madrid and the little guy cowering in fear inside the Rock of Gibraltar. And here, yeah, still a mess. Still a mess. All right, good. Hold them off. Hold them off. Don't let them get to you. And we'll see what's going on here. They're obviously thinking, moving up, filling. You notice the gap there. They're good at finding and exploiting gaps. That you have to give the AI that. And that guy's only 5. Oh, and he pulls back. So now we don't have a gap anymore. But we lost 1 hex in the mountains. So, you know, at this point, I would say that's probably a good thing. Although this number, that 2 strength point army, yeah, that one needs to go. Got to swap him out with that corps next turn. bring him back up to strength. But we're keeping the line together, which at this point, January 21st, 1945. Oops. Sorry, folks. January 21st, 1945 is not bad at all. I'm pretty happy, actually, with it. And I'll take it. We're in better shape here in the East than I thought we would be, especially once we started moving back. The West is kind of a mess, but on the other hand, we are holding, for the most part, west of the Rhine, except, of course, up north where it's a disaster, a total, complete disaster. But we've already been through that. So if I can just somehow slow that down and contain it, that's really the only hope I have. Otherwise, they're just going to rip the whole line open and disaster, which I figure will happen. Ooh, they're attacking Madrid. Will happen once spring comes and their air power can really cut loose. I'm just, it's bad. It's going to be really, really bad, folks. Really bad. All right. Russians on the attack again. And we're doing pretty well. Love to see that. They're doing the switcheroonie, so at least I'm making them use up strength points. But, of course, they probably have so many more MPPs than they can spend, I'll bet you. By this time in the game, that's usually true of the Russians. They've usually built out pretty much everything they can build, or almost at least. So here we go. They're up, up, up. They want to take Lyon, but special forces fail. Lyon holds. All right. Another assault. Lyon holds. It's good to see that at least one part of the Camino de Santiago is holding firm. Hold firm there, boys. I didn't get to Lyon, but maybe someday. We'll see. All right. Okay, see, we're doing good down south there. I'm just, pretty darn happy with that, actually. We're in better shape than I thought we would be. Because I was just really afraid when we pulled out of our dug-in spots to straighten the line out, it was going to be really bad. But we've done all right. So I got to say, the Allies have not done too badly. Trying to move around, trying to attack Metz. Ooh, look at that. They've got their armor down to half strength. Boom. Infantry did nothing. Let's see who they're going to bring up now. The UK is coming up. And they don't do anything. And, there's a UK guy took a point off me. So in spite of their low morale, they're managing to do a little bit of damage anyway. Which is, I guess, you have to take your hats off to them for that. Sort of, I guess. Kind of. Have to be a good sport, people. Have to be a good sport. Yeah, so we're doing okay. And, I don't know. My goal at this point is to last longer than historically. The Germans managed to do historically, and hopefully the Italians as well. The Allies, I don't really care about. The Axis allies, of course. And look at that, boy, Mulhouse. That is one strong fortification, and even when it gets a little weakened, you notice the forts right behind it, right across the Rhine River in the Black Forest. You got the Siegfried line there, so hey, I'll take that. If I have to move back, I can move there. Past that, once you get off the Rhine, it's pretty. Look at this. Oh, no, they're attacking the poor Italian HQ. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Yikes, man. They are just, he's down to one. They're almost to Kirkuk. He's down to none. He's gone. So they are driving into northern Iraq now with impunity, it must be said. And take that, pal. Go ahead, attack me again and get hurt some more. Take 40% casualty, see if I care. Ooh, all right, 2 more. I like it. Ooh, I don't like this. No, don't like that. No, no. No, no, no. Well, okay, you're weakened, but so am I. So that's not real good. Speaking of not real good. Ouch. That's bad. That's bad, bad, bad. And look at that. They took Tehran. I thought they weren't going to get that till next turn. Now, what happens? Well, that should bring Iran into the allied category, which, if I understand everything correctly, means I'm not going to be able to operate these guys out. They're going to be in unfriendly territory, no supply, which means, in essence, they're dead. That's what that means. At this point, given the number of Russians they're dealing with. So that's kind of a bummer is what that is. And there's one little pocket up here in Spain, but those Americans are bound and determined to get to the Mediterranean and have a friendly seacoast. Look at that, man. They're gonna wipe out every little trace of German land that was held by the Germans. The Russians want it all back. And then some. Whoop. All right, we're next to Barcelona. Look at that. They're pushing out. They're pushing down, coming south. You know where they're headed for. That's right. And look, oop, it's gone. They've got it. So, bam, look at this. Look at these guys. They are smoking, man. They are moving. Oh, here comes some cav. I'm amazed how fast that the Russians seem to be able to move through this territory. Look at that. They're right there. Holy moly. Bringing up the RD. That's not good. Yep, they're getting ready. They are getting ready to attack as soon as the weather clears, I'm imagining. Although, if I was the AI, which is a stupid thing to say, I guess, since I'm neither artificial nor intelligent. I'm naturally dumb, people. But you'd think you'd want to, reinforce for a turn and then attack, and maybe that's what they'll do. We'll see, but, there goes a plane. There goes a plane. They're shuffling their air power around and trying to get ready for what comes next. Because obviously they are going to really have to push now. They're almost a month down in 1945, January 21st. So the Russians have got to get moving. The Western powers, if they can break through up north there, they ought to be able to just rip us to shreds. So here's an interesting question. Should I do what some of the German generals wanted to do, kind of strip the West Front and hold off the Russians as long as possible so that the Western Allies take Berlin? No, because I still lose. So that's the difference between reality and a game right there. So we are not going to do that, I don't think. Nope, definitely not. We're going to fight it out and see what we can do. But how long we can hold is the big question. And what will the Russians, especially what will see, Persia surrenders. Now look, boom, look at that. Yep, I was right. These guys are totally surrounded. They have only the supplies in the unit, nothing else. Now if he can get into Qum, he'll have some city supply, but that's it. And this guy's, yeah. Oh, whoopee-doo, Yalta. Oh, excuse me. And here we go. Calculating supply. We're getting ready to end this thing. So, everybody, thanks for watching. And again, I'm really sorry about the sound. It's really bad. So you probably aren't going to want to push any thumbs up. But if you are enjoying this, I hope you will, because it does help the word get out. I'd like to increase the number of people watching my videos, of course. So if you'd like to do that or subscribe, please do. Take care, everybody. See you later.